Everybody, and it's time, folks. Time for my mock draft. Might as well do it now. The camera lady got mad. She said do it now. I'm sure she wants me to watch some terrible horror movie after this, so we're gonna get into this nonsense. Unfortunately, I'm on pff.com. I gotta give it to them. Their layout is the best, and that's just because the draft network. Theirs is terrible now. I don't even know what it is. They made it to like it's a game and like showing Super Bowl odds and shit like that into like position needs. And then it was a whole struggle for me to sign in to my fucking account again and reset my password. The draft network, fuck you. You guys know I've been on there for like 3 years now. The past 3 years, I think I've done full mock drafts on there. And you know, you used to be able to do free trades, and you have to pay for that, and you gotta pay for this shit. I'm on fucking PFF with the fucking nerds and geeks who don't really know football, so they put in different random irrelevant stats to make them seem like they know football. Listen, if you're using these obscure stats to make your arguments about players, you really don't know football like that. That or you're biased in your argument. You're just trying to find some shit that helps your point. Anyway, enough dumb, petty ranting over some stupid shit. 2023 mock draft. Let's just get right into it. I'm sure this is going to be a long video. So, yeah. The Panthers obviously are the first overall pick. They traded with the Bears. You guys have been knowing and hearing all the nonsense and shits of that nature. I think it's really only two people that are going to get drafted here, Bryce or CJ. Again, PFF having Will Levis as the second best quarterback. I mean, this is just what? Tanner McKee. Anyway, at least they have DTR up here. But it's either Bryce or CJ. We don't know. I mean, all signs pointing to Bryce nowadays. But is it a smoke show, a smoke screen that whole time? It looked like Reich and Josh McCown were very into CJ. Looks like the GM and shit were into Bryce. I'm just going to go with what I've been hearing recently, going with my gut, and I think they're going to draft Bryce Young there. As you see how you have to pay for turbo speed. Like, what are we doing? I would have used some obscure draft website, but all of them had just pop-up ads to hell, so that's why I'm on this geek-ass website for people who don't know ball. So, anyway, Bryce, we know, I've talked about him. Playmaker, smart, can dissect, good enough arm talent all around. Nothing too elite and crazy, but definitely something you can work with and succeed at a high level. I feel like he can help them out. So yeah, as I have like, it's more common era impact now. I had like 2012 TNA on Pluto TV. So yeah. Number 2, the Texans. Now we've been hearing rumbling. This is why I do this shit a week before the draft, because you're hearing all these ramblings and nonsense about how now they might not pick a quarterback because of such and such and who's your moms and all this other dumb shit. Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me because they are dumb enough and they've been a terribly ran organization that now they're not going to draft a quarterback, and either Will Anderson or Jalen Carter maybe. I think it's all horse shit. I just don't see how you want to act like you're going to win and try to win and bring out Davis Mills again. I just don't see it, folks. They've lost the plot on that. I think it's a load of malarkey. I got probably arguably my number one, I guess. You know, I had number 1, number 2, or 1A, 1B with CJ and Bryce. I'm going to make them draft CJ. Just how don't you? I don't know. Like, how don't you draft a quarterback and then a guy of his talent? I don't know, folks. I mean, just, you know, elite accuracy, ball placement. Now they're trying to hate on him with this random test, acting like he can't read defenses and shit. That's never been an issue. No one in the months of scouting him has said that until just now, randomly. I think it's bullshit. Per usual, as most things I think is bullshit. Just rambling. But yeah, I got them picking C.J. Stroud, number 2. Number 3, the Arizona Cardinals. This should be a foregone conclusion as well. I got them drafting Will Anderson Jr. Just probably this one of, if not the safest picks you can get. Solid edge rusher for multiple years, I think that will happen. Number 4, the Colts. They also need a quarterback. They might be one of the people trying to have a smoke show for to get CJ or Bryce to drop. You've been hearing they like Will Levis somehow. I mean, just look at these geeks. They really want us to pay money to look at an intermediate grade. I don't care. All right, you fucking dweebs. Look at these miraculous stats by Will Levis. Let me move me so I can exit out of this guy. I think they're going to draft Will Levis just because that's what you've been hearing. The GM and others say they love athletic guys. So yeah, got them picking him. Number 5, Seahawks. This is a luxury pick. They could go anywhere. Jalen, Tyree Wilson, Gonzalez, stuff like that. You see what they need. Guard, center, D-line. I think these quarterbacks are going to go early. And they've been looking at all the quarterbacks. I think it's going to be high. There might be trades. I'm not doing trades. You guys know how that is. And knowing Draft Network, you probably got to pay to do trades for this shit too. I'm going to have the Seahawks pick Anthony Richardson so he could sit a couple of years behind Geno. And hopefully for them and for him, I don't wish bad careers on any of these guys, that he could develop into a good starter. He's an athlete, obviously, big arm, mobile. I think it'd be fun. And, there's no for sure team that he's going to go to. We haven't heard. So, I think Seattle, I don't think they'll be this high ever again in the foreseeable future. So, get your quarterback of the future in Denver. Thanks to Denver's pick. So, 6th, the Lions. You hear a lot of stuff. You see the needs. Wide receiver now, potentially, because J-Mo got suspended for gambling over a college football game, not even NFL. I think the rule is very hypocritical and goofy now that you're legalizing gambling everywhere. I get you don't want the players to, purposely tank games and do shit because of the gambling, but if they're not betting on their games, I don't know. I don't know, man. I can see it. I see why, but if you're not even involved in it, and it was over a college game, kind of goofy to me. I'm just saying. Or because it was at the Lions facility. I mean, I guess, but I don't know. I think shit that could easily be avoidable there. But wide receiver, tight end, D-line is in need. I think they also need cornerback play. And I'm going to give them the best all-around athlete and my cornerback one. And Christian Gonzalez, as they traded Okuda to the Falcons. Gave up on him. So I think they're going to, obviously need a cornerback one. Even with the guys they have and picked up. Cameron Sutton and such of those things. I think it'd be a good fit. Number 7, the Raiders. They need a lot of help. Quarterback, O-line, D-line, DBs. Talent-wise, he might be 2 or 3. I think he's going to drop just a little because of the off-the-field issues. But if there's any team who does not give a fuck about off-the-field issues, it is the Oakland Raiders. Scratch out Las Vegas Raiders. I got him picking Jalen Carter, physical specimen. if he keeps his head straight and actually just plays football and doesn't do dumb shit. Yeah, I think he's going to be a solid player for a long time for that organization. If not, you know how this ends, unfortunately. As cornerbacks might be a need for them. Also, quarterback. I think they're going to roll with Ritter for some reason. God bless him, but you guys know from last year I wasn't high on him. Receivers you can get, but end is a need. Tyree Wilson, I've seen him be falling down into this position. I like it a lot for them. A lengthy athlete on the edge that they desperately need. As we go from an edge athlete to another, for the Bears, for my selection, it's pretty easy for me at least. Get Justin Fields some help. Give him someone he's used to. That's my boy Paris Johnson Jr. from the Ohio State. Show up that line, dear God. Yeah, because everyone thinks Justin Fields just runs the ball and he sucks, even though other quarterbacks get praised for quote-unquote just running the ball. I don't get the hypocrisies. Jalen Hurts, obviously, I'm talking about. Speaking of the Eagles, number 10, they can go a magnitude of range. These are the, a potential trade spot, definitely, as well as the Cardinals and Falcons even. The teams that are so terrible but don't necessarily need a quarterback get some picks. They can go a number of ways. What do I really want them to be? I'm thinking either Skoronski or Witherspoon at this point, because Skoronski can play either tackle or guard, so if they want more depth at that position. Witherspoon, you're not sure on Bradbury and the other corners being, there long term. So I'm going to give them, I guess, Devin Witherspoon, because they really pride on that position, and picking up Slay and all these other people, Maddox, all these people they've brung in or drafted. They're pretty aggressive on that, and I think he'll be a good, solid starting corner for them in the foreseeable future. So that's where I'll give Skoronski to the Titans, because they need O-line help and depth at pretty much all the positions, as I'm doubling my picks, making sure they're what I need and what I need to get situated. You could put them at tackle and guard just to, re-up that line for King Henry, as the Houston Texans are on the clock. And if they drafted CJ, which I said they would, it would only be cool and cute that they pick up my number one receiver and a guy that CJ is all too familiar with in Jackson Smith and Jigba. Great hands, great route runner, finds the open holes, cushions in the defense. I don't see why they don't do it. As the Jets now need help with tackle and linebacker, so therefore you go to the next tackle that I'm high on, and that is Broderick Jones, a nice athlete for them to shore up. Hopefully for them, Aaron Rodgers. I don't think they trade this first-round pick to the Packers. I think it's going to be a second this year and a first next year and all this other nonsense. So just shore up the Jets team and holes for that team and such. 14, Patriots. You never know what the fuck they're going to do. They're more than likely going to trade back. There's reports that they visited with fucking Will Levis of all people. I don't know what Bill has no idea what he's doing at this point. He's senile. Quarterback, tackle, edge. I mean, if you look at these teams, they usually either reach or do something. I think they might trade back and such, but I think Lucas Van Ness, who I didn't have him in my top 5 edge rushers, but he was definitely 6. He just seems like a Patriot. I don't know. I just feel like they can trade back and get him, but, I'm not doing that, so we'll just have him here. High motor, intelligent guy. Just feels like a Patriot, Packers on the clock, they can do an abundance of things. You still got Quentin Johnston there. Kincaid, Cansey if you really want to shore up that line. Safety help, Brian Branch potentially. I don't know, man. It can go an abundance of ways, as I've been saying abundance a lot. Miles Murphy even. I say you give Jordan Love a playmaker, and you give him probably the best receiving tight end in this draft, and Dalton Kincaid. I've seen it. I like it. And like I said, if Love is the guy, which I think he's going to be, no matter what, but I think they'll just find a way to get Aaron out of there. Give Jordan as many weapons as you can. You can get all these other positions in later rounds. Granted, this tight end class is pretty deep, so I guess in theory you could get a tight end back there too, but why wait? Why wait? You got the Commanders now at 16. I guess they need a quarterback, but I think they're going to go with Sam Howell, as I think they should. Just give him a year. If he doesn't show that he could be a starter, you draft him in the later rounds anyway. So they can go guard, center, linebacker, corner even. I don't know. It's a lot of things they can do. I think they said they moved Cosme over to guard because he doesn't have the length. So do they want a tackle? I had Darnell Wright as a second-round guy, but he's been boosting up boards. Oh no, I think I had him as a second or first round guy actually. So I think tackles are gonna fly off the board actually. They can get corner help too, but I think line is just too good of a pick, for them to shore up. Steelers, do I want to be like everyone and do the inevitable? Anton Harrison, I feel like we could get him with the first pick in the second round. Dwan Jones, maybe. I know Tomlin's high on him. He pretty much went out with all of Ohio State linemen, which is lovely to see as a Steelers and Ohio State fan, obviously. But I don't know. I think he'll sneak in the later rounds. I think we want a short corner. And yeah, I mean, if it's up to Banks and Porter Jr., I think we know who we're going to favor just from knowing him the most. You've seen it everywhere. At this point, I'm kind of accepting, and I feel like this is just going to happen. I'm not really going to be mad at it. I got us picking Joey Porter Jr. I feel like we can get a very good, sneakily good tackle at the first pick in the second round, unless Jones, Johnson, or Skoronski falls, even though we're pretty good at guards, so pretty much Jones or Johnson, and maybe even Wright, but I have the Commanders picking him. As we now have the Detroit Lions, and I had them picking Gonzalez in the last one. So now interior help on the D line. As you guys see, I do this live. Braziz and Cansey. I just don't see Cansey in the first round. I just don't. I don't know. They could go with a luxury pick as well with old Bijan. I mean, I don't even... I'm never on PFF, so I don't even know how the fuck they operate this shit. Kind of want to do this for them. Tight end help too, I guess. Who did they pick up? They picked up David Montgomery and DeAndre Swift, so not really, now that I'm thinking about it. Kind of messing up me mock, if I'm being for real, guys. I mean, receiver, they're going to need help. Quentin Johnston is right there for them. Why not? Another big-bodied outside receiver. You got Jama when he comes back as an outside guy. Amon-Ra St. Brown as an inside guy. You got people like Josh Reynolds and all these other obscure receivers that I'm not too high on. Why not get two talented athletes in Gonzalez and Johnston? Yeah. You know, they could have drafted Jalen Carter, but I don't know. I just think he's going to slip. I don't know if Dan Campbell really wants someone like that with that high of character concerns in the draft. So there we go. Buccaneers. Quarterback. There's no one really. I just don't see Hendon Hooker as a first-round guy, personally. I wouldn't be surprised if he sneaks in, but I'm not going to pick him in the first round. Tight end, I guess, but I just don't see it either. O-line at any position. I'm thinking Osiris Torrance here. Maybe Anston Harrison. D-end. Miles Murphy, maybe. I don't know. I think this might be a this might be a pit. Let me look at their roster, which is something I should have done before. Yeah, they got Rashad White as their running back with Chase Edmonds, Keyshawn Vaughn. I don't know, to be wild and crazy, I think I'm just gonna I just don't think he falls far in this range, so why not give him Bijan Robinson? You know, the most versatile playmaking offensive weapon in this draft. So now you go to the Seahawks, who I guess need guard and center help, so there could be a Torrance sighting there. But I don't know. I think a guy like Nolan Smith or Miles Murphy would help them out. Now that I'm looking at it, yeah, either Murphy or Smith now. I think they want a stronger bodied, just traditional edge rusher. So I'm gonna give him Miles Murphy. A lot of people are low on him. I guess I'm kind of in the middle. You used to see him high, like top 10 almost every time. I even have someone like Lucas Van Ness higher, but I feel like he's more of a Patriots person than the Seahawks. And both of those teams trade back, so. Chargers, they need receiver. They need an explosive guy. They already got two big bodies in Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. I'm going to give him Zay Flowers, elite route runner. Good hands. He can work on the consistency in catching them, so. Or of catching them, but yeah. As we go to the Baltimore Ravens now, receiver, edge, corner, they need a lot of things. I don't know. I think edge is going to be a guy that they could be looking for. They already got Owusu and Joba at actual like DNs, so maybe they might need a pass rusher. And Nolan Smith, they could go for the local guy, corner, and Banks. You've seen him get drafted higher. I'm just not that high on him. So let's give him an outside linebacker, stand-up blitzer, attack the guy. and Nolan Smith. Of course, they could have got receiver 2 and like Jordan Addison, but I don't know. They don't really need slot receiver help now per se. You got Duvernay, you got James Prochet, who I guess Ravens fans aren't that high on, but I still think he's capable of being an all-right, average slot receiver. But Duvernay especially, he has the speed to just get the ball in his hands. And now with OBJ, he could pretty much play inside or out. But which gets me to the Vikings. They could also get receiver or DN, linebacker, corner. I think Deonte Banks is there. Just sure up the cornerback play. You got Byron Murphy, who I ironically comped him to. This is a team also who has tried to get secondary help. It hasn't worked out. I say don't give up on that. And pick him. Same thing with the Jaguars. I just love this fit a lot. I got him picking up Brian Branch. Pretty good nickelback. I guess he can play deep safety if you wanted him to. I don't know how consistently great he'd be at that, but very great box safety. He's one of my favorite players in the draft, so I'm not knocking him because I don't think he can be Ed Reed, single back safety. But yeah, that's what we're going to do and give him Brian Branch. I guess this is a mixture of what I do and what I think could happen. As Giants, they need receiver, center, linebacker, safety. You can get linebacker, center, and safety in later rounds. I don't care. We're giving them a receiver. I know some Giants fans don't want to hear it. For some reason, you morons gave Daniel Jones a 4-year deal. Why aren't you giving him as much help as you can? You got Jordan Addison here. He'd be your number 1 target guy. At least I feel like he'd get the most receptions on the team instantly. Even with the addition of Darren Waller, I just don't see why you don't do that. As the Cowboys now are on the clock, they need a lot of help, I guess. I mean, they got some keyholes here. You can do running back, which I know every Texas fan and Cowboys fan wants Bijan to fall to them. I just don't see him getting out of the top 20 necessarily. I just don't see at his height teams drafting him in the first round. Brzee, he gets injured. I think he'll fall back just a couple more spots here. Linebackers I just don't see in the first round. And corner, I mean, who's left? Do you want to get Forbes or Smith or my boy Ringo, who they hate? They have Hodges Tomlinson over him. I mean, I love TCU and I loved the Jim Thorpe Award winner, but come on. I don't know. There's just so many little positions that they need help with. You see tight end a lot. I don't know. I could see Felix sneaking in just randomly. The Cowboys do weird stuff like this. Do they really need guard play? Not necessarily. Darnell Washington, could he sneak in the first round? I don't know. We're doing this live, folks, in case you didn't know. We have been stumped, folks. We're in a conundrum here. Can I trade back? So if I subscribe to I'm Jared Jones, I want to trade back. I don't know what the fuck's going on. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Maybe Cansey does sneak in. I think I'm gonna give him Cansey just to get the ball moving here. I don't see it happening at all, but they do need D lineman help, and they usually do. Just, they have their own board of random shit that happens. So we're gonna give them that. As now the Bills, who need help all over the place. I mean, well, not help, but no dire need. They have holes. I guess at linebacker, do I really think? I said I didn't think that there's going to be a linebacker in this draft, but now, or in the first round, and now I see it. I mean, you can never not have enough receivers. Josh Downs, I think, would be a very good slot receiver for them. They somehow still need cornerback help. I just don't see Forbes or Smith as a first-round pick. Definitely don't see Julius Brents as a first-round pick, as you're seeing slightly. I might just have to give him a linebacker, but I feel like you can get them in the second round. I think that's when they really are going to come off the board. I guess just to sure up the line, Brian Brzee, something I've never seen either. We're breaking ground here, as I've been stumped by this here fucking draft. But hey, it makes sense in my mind. As now we have the Bengals, who this is an easier pick for me now. They need tight end to help. Michael Mayer's my number 1 tight end. He's from Ohio. I feel like it'd be a perfect fit for that offense. As now the Saints, they need guard help, center help, interior lineman help. Luckily for them, Osiris Torrance has fallen in my draft. I think they'd scoop him up in a minute, which leaves the Eagles saying, what happened, could have got him. I mean, this is just a luxury pick at this point. Safety, guard, receiver. You look at the receivers. Josh Downs would be pretty cool to see in that offense. Slot guy, you'd fit perfectly with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith on the outside. Guard, safety, center. People love fucking John Michael Schmitz. Seen him in a lot of first-round picks. I just feel like these guys are better value in the second to third round. You look at interior. Mozzie Smith might sneak in here. Yeah, they need interior guys. Then DN safety. Why not give them Will McDonald? Who cares? Just an edge rusher. They need it, I guess. The guys they're getting are aging or hurt. Just give them another athlete on the edge. Now with the Chiefs, they don't need Downs because they already have Sky Moore and Kadarius Toney, who could be slot guys. Then you look at D-line. So you look at this. You look at edge. B.J. Ojolari, I like a lot. Debawar, if they really want to develop a guy, I think it's going to be one of these people. If not, a receiver that falls to them. Felix, maybe just because he's a hometown kid. Another guy on the edge is, you can never have enough. So we're going to give him FAU. And this is was very confident and stopped being confident draft 2023. As you see all of the picks, as I move my fucking head. maybe not. Anyway, I got Panthers picking Bryce Young, Texans picking C.J. Stroud, Cardinals picking Will Anderson Jr., Colts picking Will Levis, Seahawks picking Anthony Richardson, Lions picking Christian Gonzalez, Raiders picking Jalen Carter, Falcons picking Terry Wilson, Bears picking Paris Johnson Jr., Eagles picking Devin Witherspoon, with the Titans picking Peter Skoronski, Texans picking Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jets Broderick Jones, Patriots Lucas Van Ness, Packers Dalton Kincaid, 16. Commanders picking Darnell Wright, Steelers picking Joey Porter Jr., Lions picking Quentin Johnston, me fucking up the slides, Buccaneers picking Bijan Robinson, dear God. Miles Murphy will be going to the Seahawks in my make-believe bullshit. 21, Zay Flowers to the Chargers. Cardinals would be cool too, but Ravens picking Nolan Smith, Vikings Deontay Banks, Jaguars Brian Branch, Giants Jordan Addison, Cowgirls Kalijah Cansey, Bills Brian Brzee, Bengals Michael Mayer, Saints Osiris Torrance, Eagles Will McDonald IV, and finally the Chiefs picking Felix Duque Uzama. As this has been your boy King Kaleb here with another mediocre prediction. I usually get half the picks right at least. I'll go back and see how right and wrong I was, but you guys know I love having fun bullshitting football with the 3 people that watch this. I'll be back for more nonsense. We'll get the actual podcast back and running. This has been your boy King Kaleb here, signing the fuck out. Post video edit, I would just like to say Michael Mayer is not from Ohio, he's from Kentucky, which pretty much shits and nasty is pretty much that's where they're from anyway, so I guess that was the parallel I was getting at. So thank you guys to get the fuck out of my face.